You know, this is, I think this is a battle that will go on forever because contracts are, you know, they can be fair without being equitable. And it is a matter, of course, as you know, of apportioning risk between the parties. And, you know, I do see, and I've talked to some planners with less experience, or certainly to my students who want a risk-free contract, which is, you know, much like a unicorn. It just doesn't exist. Contract does apportion risk to some extent, and each party has to take their fair share. So I think probably the wise and savvy meeting planners are looking at their contracts and trying to figure out if the language they've got is the best language for their organization, for their meeting, for their attendees, for the trends that are showing. And if they aren't, they really should be. In fact, anybody in any economy and any time should be looking at these contracts periodically. And I know that hotels are looking at their contracts not only because of some of the trends that you've mentioned, but also because there are new risks. For example, data theft and loss. You know, I just saw recently that hotels are no longer as risky as they were in terms of data theft and loss, but I think they still ranked third of the type of businesses that were most likely to be hit with data issues. So, you know, I think there are things like that that need to be addressed in contracts that maybe haven't been in the past. I think some people want to use a one-size-fits-all attrition clause or force majeure clause or cancellation clause, and there is no such thing. So I think that, again, I think it behooves all meeting planners and hotel people to look at those contracts periodically. You know, I think there always is. You know, to some extent, you'll find a lot of jaded lawyers who say a contract is a contract, it's always going to be a contract. But the circumstances surrounding it definitely vary. And, you know, I know every time I've gotten into a conversation with people about contracts, somebody gives me a scenario that I hadn't heard of before or that I hadn't thought of. And it's hearing those scenarios from other people, I think, that is part of the education, the important education that helps you anticipate what could happen.